Check. Check one.
Hi
Check.
everyone.
Check.
Hello and welcome to Ancient Ivri Never Died. My name is Shia Adebayo and this is our first known short video and word for the year 2025. The first word that we're looking at this 2025 is the word Hebrew, as you can tell from the title of the video. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the Yoruba origins of the word Hebrew. And of course, as usual, its correct form, which will be derived from the Paleo-Hebrew script or any other presentations as may be appropriate. Who is a Hebrew? What does the name say about the bearer? Does it identify the subject as a descendant of someone called Hebrew or something along the lines? Or someone who lived or lives somewhere called Hebrew or Hebrew land? We know from the Bible that the children of Israel are Hebrews. An example of non-Hebrew witnesses to that effect are the Egyptians. In Exodus chapter 1 verses 15 to 19, the Egyptian midwives informed Pharaoh that the Hebrew women usually give birth before the arrival of the midwives. If anyone knew these Hebrews, the Egyptians did, considering that the Israelite branch of the Hebrews lived for decades in Egypt before the Exodus. In case you never realized, the Israelites were not the only Hebrews. They had plenty of relatives. Another example of where the word appears is in Genesis chapter 14 verse 13, where Abraham is referred to as Abraham the Hebrew. My third and final example is in Jonah chapter 1 verse 9, where Jonah identifies himself as a Hebrew. Instances taken care of, let's look at the letters that make up the word that is transliterated today as Hebrew. In all three aforementioned examples, the word is rendered as Ayin, Bet, Resh, Yod in the Paleo script. This spelling corresponds to that of the modern Hebrew word, which is vocalized Ivri and anglicized Hebrew. In the Paleo and modern Hebrew scripts, the letters read as Ayin, Bet, Resh, and Yod. If we transliterate the Ayin in Ivri as an A, then read the letters from left to right, instead of the usual right to left, the letters spell Y, R, B, A. We could simply vowelize YRBA as Yoruba so that we can quickly end the video now and go seriously think about why the word branded Ivri reads Yoruba when read from left to right. Let's stick to the usual right to left pattern in arriving at meaning. There are two theories as to the origin of the word Ivri, geographical and ancestral. The ancestral links Ivri to Eber, a descendant of Shem, who is Noah's son, mentioned in biblical genealogies. Genesis chapter 10 verses 21 to 25. While the geographical one connects Ivri with the Hebrew root that means to cross over. I'll be taking you down the geographical route because I find support for this route in the New Testament in the name of one of the characters mentioned in there, which we will come to shortly. Feel free to take a guess though. Are you thinking of the same person I am referring to? Maybe. We're looking for a word or words that would help us vowelize Ayin, Bet, Resh, Yod correctly to arrive at a geographic identifier that tells us that a person termed a Hebrew comes from such and such a place. This is Ancient Hebrew Never Died, and what we do here is restore Hebrew words to the correct Yoruba term. We will be looking for Yoruba vowels and words to fill in the visual gaps created by the ancient writing system. We're in luck because I've already done the work for us. We start with Ayin, Bet, Resh, Yod. I'm transliterating the Ayin as AI in this case. AI for the Ayin, IBI for the Bet, ERIN for the Resh, and OYA for the Yod. I means owner, EB means place, Erin means wetter, waterer, Oya is the Niger River. The vowelization of Ain, Bet, Resh, Yod with owner, place, waterer, Oya tells us that the term refers to someone who is one of the stock of people who own, live in, or come from the areas watered by the Niger. The Yoruba name for the Niger River is Oya. Erin is a Yoruba word for a water body, usually one that is flowing. The word Erin and its meaning is evident in place names like Erin Jesha Waterfalls, Ulumirin Waterfalls, Erin River, and Arinta Waterfalls. The operative verb in all these names is ring. The ancient Hebrews never called themselves Hebrews, as they never originally named themselves in English. They never called themselves Ivri or Ibri either. They also knew that a B was not a V, and never would a V be a B. Their name was in their own tongue, and anyone who spoke a language from the same family or learned the Hebrews language would have little or no difficulty pronouncing the name. The ancient Hebrews called themselves Iberi Oya, a contraction of I, Ibi, Erin, Oya, and they were known as that, or by the same description and the language of the person identifying them. The pronunciation can be varied as Ibori Oya, but either pronunciation can be difficult for foreigners unless they have the opportunity to master the pronunciation. Iberia is where the word Iberia comes from. Iberians were known to be Hebrews, which means that they are people whose ancestors come from Ibi, Eri, Oya, that is the River Niger area. This is the reason why many Spanish and Portuguese Jews were deported or found their way to West Africa during the Spanish Inquisition and other expulsions from Europe. Hibernia and the Irish River Erne also come to mind. We already know that the West African Moors lived in Europe and that many European nobility were black or had black origins. It appears that everybody knew who the Hebrews and Iberians were and what their origins were, but conveniently forgot for a long time, and still do most of the time nowadays. While working on the restoration of the word Hebrew, I considered the word Orum, source, mountain, heights, highlands as an option for the Resh. But given that the area of the whole length of the River Niger itself is one of the boundary markers for the Promised Land, and given that Yoruba people, by the same name or any other name, are found in many of the countries that benefit from the River Niger directly or through a distributary, going with the latter would exclude people and territory that the identifier is supposed to cover. Now that we know that a Hebrew's correct identifier is a word that ties the bearer to the River Niger area, you must have realized that the person in the New Testament whom I hinted of earlier is the prophet and teacher, Simeon the Niger, who we are told by many sources that is very likely or definitely a black man. While the New Testament's translated description calls him the Niger, that was not the local and original word for it. This word Niger will be the topic for my next video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until I see you next time on Ancient Hebrew Never Died, stay connected with the creator of all that be. I remain Seyi Adebayo, proudly Yoruba, proudly Iberian Oya. Àwọn bàbá mi ló nílẹ̀ tí dé òkè Ọya. My fathers own all the land all the way up to the north of the Niger River. Happy Black History Month.